Good evening. I'm Alan Jackson, and welcome to Nashville. We've got something a little different this evening, how smart shopping can improve lives. Now, I'm not talking about queuing up your grocery pickup orders so you don't have to stand in the checkout line. It's a lot more powerful than that. It's about influencing companies by how you shop. You know, most of our spending decisions are made on the fly. We often respond just to packaging, branding, advertising, sometimes even just word of mouth. But what if you could leverage your purchases into influence on corporate policy? More broadly, consumer influence in scale can influence corporate spending. We saw this happen recently with Bud Light. At the time, they were the #1 beer in America, and they fell to 3rd place in 1 year. People boycotted the brand after they featured a transgender social media influencer in their ads. Influence can change how industry operates. Think of it as a twofer. Buy what you need and improve your country at the same time. Faith-based spending is increasing, buying from companies that respect our beliefs. We can use our voice by how we use our dollars. And tonight, our guest shows consumers and companies how their purchasing power can be harnessed into grassroots economic power. Michael Seifert is the founder and CEO of PublicSquare. Welcome to our show.
Pastor Allen, it's great to see you. Thank you for having me.
Well, we're delighted to have this time. We want to learn a little bit. You've come up with a powerful idea, matching consumers and their purchasing power for real influence. Now, I'm not talking about Oreos versus Kit Kats. This is influence that can change some of the very core issues in this country. Explain to us how you came up with this idea.
Well, I'd be happy to. Proverbs 3:9 says, honor God with your wealth. And oftentimes we think about this verse purely in light of tithing or giving. So I can honor my convictions that are informed by my faith by giving to charities or my local church in a way that blesses God and advances his values across society. But we rarely think about Proverbs 3:9 in light of our spending or our investments. And so I think over the last few years, consumers in America, especially Christian consumers, have awakened to the reality that many companies in our country that dominate the public discourse have been co-opted by a hyper-progressive political ideology that is very damaging and antithetical to our Christian beliefs. So you mentioned Bud Light in the opening, and there are countless other examples. If folks remember, shortly after Bud Light, Target came out and actually sold rather sexualized clothing and bathing suits in kids sections that was trying to enforce a belief about gender ideology. And you saw the mom audience in the United States wake up and say, no more. I'm tired of funding political organizations with my dollars that take those dollars and turn them around and use them against me. And we've created a solution for that. Before I tell you a little bit more about the solution, I'll give you another inspirational moment for me more personally. So I talked about macroeconomically, but my personal inspiration, I remember in 2018, I was walking out of a Starbucks and I had a coffee in my hands. And no less than an hour later, I saw a news article on my phone that popped up and talked about how Starbucks was actually matching employee contributions to Planned Parenthood. So if you work at a company that matches your 401k contributions, imagine that same structure, but for Planned Parenthood. So they were encouraging their employees to actively donate to abortion, and Starbucks would actually match your contribution to abortion. To me, this caused my heart to sink, and it was a massive wake-up call on a personal level that my purchases were actually funding an organization that was going to fund abortion practices in the United States. And me as a Christian, I had a huge problem with that. So that day, I cut off my spending to Starbucks. What that immediately forced me to do is go look for other options. Companies that would serve me great coffee, because let's be honest, Starbucks is not good. They burn their coffee. It's not an enjoyable cup. I wanted to find an amazing quality cup of coffee that would not fund atrocity, but instead, I would be able as the consumer to honor my convictions and buy a great product or service in the process. That ended up leading to me creating, with an amazing team, a marketplace that today totals over 80,000 businesses that are selling high quality goods from family-owned businesses that love and stand for life, liberty, and family. That way, when our millions of consumers at publicsquare.com know they are purchasing from brands that align with their own values and will create a better America. So simply put, We were frustrated for a long time, Pastor Allen. We felt like companies continually turned against us, so we built a solution. And the solution looks like PublicSquare.com. It's a marketplace of 80,000 plus businesses that stand for and protect life, family, and liberty. That way, consumers with blessed assurance can know that every single time they're making a purchase, they're not funding their ideological opposition or antithetical companies to their own belief systems, but instead they're actually creating the type of country they want to live in with the power of their dollar. And it's been an amazing journey, and we're just getting started.
Well, I love it. You didn't just complain about what was happening, you actually led with your faith and made a difference. Can you tell us how it operates and how buyers, families, and corporate shoppers can get involved?
Absolutely. So if you're a consumer and you want to buy coffee or new household cleaner solution, or you want to buy diapers, or you want to buy even a new mattress, no matter what you're looking for, there's a good chance that PublicSquare has it. So the way it works for a consumer is you either go to publicsquare.com. There's no sign up fee. There's no membership fee. It's free to go browse and shop from any number of purchases you'd like to take part in. And at the point of sale, you're going to learn more about the company. You're going to learn who they are, how it's made, what they stand for, what family actually created these products. One thing that's really neat, Pastor Allen, is that if you look at our top merchants, so top 10 merchants of ours on PublicSquare, none of those merchants are actually even on Amazon or Target or Walmart or any other retailer. The only place you can discover these merchants is PublicSquare. So what you'll find is that consumers, when they're browsing, they've never heard of most of these businesses. And the reason they've never heard of them is they're small businesses. They're family owned and operated. They focus on quality and excellence. And they actually, in many cases, give back to causes that if you're a Christian or a conservative, you believe in these causes. So I'll give you a good example. When I left Starbucks, the brand I left for was actually a coffee company I found on our own platform called 7 Weeks Coffee. It's very high quality coffee. And the reason it's called 7 Weeks is because when a baby is 7 weeks in the womb, it's the size of a coffee bean. So this beautiful valuing of life is found in every single thing they do, including their name. And they don't just say these great things with their brand, they give back. So 10% of all of the profits that 7 Weeks Coffee earns through PublicSquare actually gets donated back to pro-life pregnancy centers around our great country. If you're a consumer, you got power with your dollars, you go to publicsquare.com, you shop from a wide variety of different businesses serving different products, and you know when you check out that your dollar not only provided a great product for you and your family, you're actually funding an incredible business that is going to do good with those dollars. If you are a business owner, very similar, you can go to publicsquare.com and you'll see an account tab in the top right corner, and you can actually add your business to the site. It's free to join. You never have to pay any money to list your business with us, and you can actually link your products, or you can host your brick and mortar storefront on our marketplace. And you can see your sales tangibly driven by a network of consumers that are excited about purchasing from you. And this is an incredible community of both business owners and consumers alike. It's very easy to use. And if you actually are more of a mobile shopper and you don't want to use the desktop, you can actually download the app on the App Store or Google Play, and you can have it on the front page of your home screen so that anytime you're wanting to make a purchasing decision, you open up your phone, you see the app right there.
Well, that's a refreshing new look at the marketplace. Michael Seifert, we have to take a short break. It's time for viewers to write to us with their thoughts. You can send them to comments@alanjacksonnow.com. We'll be right back. We're back now with the founder and CEO of PublicSquare, Michael Seifert. Michael, tell us a little bit more about faith-based buying, maybe a new concept for many. How does that work, and what are the opportunities it presents just to the average family that wants to take advantage of what you're presenting?
Well, number one, I think, is recognizing the importance of faith-based spending. So our economy today in the United States is largely centralized into a few large companies that oftentimes don't necessarily have Christian values at the helm. So what happens when we as Christians spend our money with these companies is that we might have the purest intentions, but our dollars end up being weaponized against our Christian faith and our convictions ultimately. And so the first step is knowledge and understanding that your dollars actually have power to either fund the things you believe in, or unfortunately fund things that are antithetical to those beliefs. And then ultimately you want to do something with that knowledge. And for a long time, we didn't have a lot of great solutions. We had a lot of people complaining about the problem. I was one of them. But it wasn't until recently that you saw folks stand up and create solutions. So for us, we're very grateful that we've been a part of that. We're certainly not the only part of it, but we're a big part of it. We started a marketplace called PublicSquare that is filled with over 80,000 businesses that actually value life, family, liberty. They sign a values pledge when these businesses actually join the platform, and it helps consumers begin to take a step in their journey to spend money with businesses that will honor their faith convictions. And what's really cool about the experience is that the vast majority of these business owners are not only run by people that honor those convictions and value life, liberty, family, but they are Christians themselves. And oftentimes they have amazing stories about how they started their businesses. They're small businesses. So our marketplace is actually not dominated by a few key actors. It's decentralized in nature. Our marketplace is full of 80,000 small businesses that maybe don't get the mainstream limelight from Amazon, but actually they've got better quality products. They're handcrafted. They're from your local community. They care about what you care about, and they want to honor God in the way that they excel in craftsmanship or in customer service. They carry their faith convictions into everything they do, and you as the consumer can actually feel that. So step one is information, understanding that your dollars have power. Step two is actually putting those dollars to work and spending money with businesses that you believe in. And step three, ultimately, is sharing your testimonies about how that's impacted you and your family and your community. We as a family in our household know with blessed assurance and a great deal of confidence that the vast majority of products in our household now were created by businesses that honor what our family honors. And this helps us ultimately fulfill the goal of honoring Proverbs 3:9, honoring God with our wealth. If I know that my dollar is creating a better society that my kids and my kids' kids can eventually be proud of, I'll know that I can sleep well at night.
Well, I like your idea. Small businesses are an important part of our best future. I'm curious, do you have any competitors yet?
Not really. I will tell you that we've really become the marketplace solution for folks that are wanting to spend money in alignment with their Christian values. But we're certainly not the only company that's trying to create within their industry a solution to this problem. So I'll give you a few other examples. In the hiring space, so many companies want to hire employees that they can rely on because they prioritize a Christian ethic. That company's called Red Balloon. So Red Balloon's actually a hiring service. It's run by a great friend of mine that helps match values-aligned employees with values-aligned employers. In the video sharing space, as a competitor to YouTube, Rumble, run by a great friend of mine, places a great deal of emphasis on free speech and ensuring that your right to free expression is protected, where many other platforms like YouTube don't allow that. We actually at PublicSquare started a payments company. So we actually handle payment processing for churches and nonprofits and the Second Amendment community that's often been ignored by major financial institutions. And then we have friends in the web hosting space that have created great solutions like Liberation Tech that focus on offering competitors to Amazon or Azure or Google Cloud providers. So no matter what you're looking for these days, we're certainly kind of leading the charge in the marketplace space. But if you're looking for business services, accounting software, Patriot Software does an amazing job helping small businesses empower their financial backend to lead to success. And they do so by honoring God. It's run by a very devout Christian. I'm very excited, Pastor Allen, about this new Renaissance era we have in our economy for Christian entrepreneurs. And so it's never been a better time to actually go put your dollars to practice, whether you're a business owner or a consumer, knowing that you actually have solutions out there. We don't just have to complain anymore.
It's remarkable. I'm sure not everybody appreciates your approach. We've only got a minute left, but have you gotten any pushback from companies whose values don't square with yours?
Yes, your assumption is correct. We absolutely have. I'm a firm believer that anytime you're doing something worthwhile and that deeply matters, you're going to face opposition. We've experienced it. We've had the hit pieces written about us. We've had the angry comments, but I'll tell you something and I'll finish with this. Anytime we have criticism about what we're doing, it's only actually grown our platform. And not just grown our platform with the people that agree with us. Here's a stat that often blows people away. 30% of our shoppers on publicsquare.com are actually registered Democrats that probably aren't Christians, but they see the example we're trying to set and they find it really appealing. And so we've heard story after story of people saying, hey, I didn't really want to like you, but as I've come to know your platform and the types of businesses you represent, I'm going to keep shopping. And it's pretty exciting.
Well, Michael Seifert, thank you for your time. We've all learned a lot today. I'd like to check back with you a little later this year.
We'd love that too. We'd love to come join you again. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Well, in a moment, I'll have some hopeful thoughts of my own about how we can move the country forward in a more positive way. I'll be right back. I have a question for you. Are you being influenced or are you an influencer? Well, I mean, obviously the answer is both. What I'm really asking are you being intentional with the influence that God has given to you? Most of us imagine that we don't really have any influence unless there's an arena filled with people, or we're getting lots of clicks, or we have some sort of we're a force online in some way. But as humans, we've been created in the image of God. We have the ability to reason and decide whether we will pursue godliness or ungodliness. Well, it's important to understand this because we live in a culture where we're told that good and evil are subjective. We're bombarded with messaging that many, if not most, behaviors can just be justified. So do whatever you want, whatever feels good, whatever causes you to feel okay, you should just pursue that. Well, long ago, God declared what's right and wrong for humanity. He's the designer. He gave us the design specs. And if we want to have the best possible life, it only makes sense to create with to cooperate with the instructions of the designer. That's what our Bible's all about. It's full of instructions. In 1 Peter chapter 1, it says, you must live as God's obedient children. Don't slip back into your old ways of living to satisfy your own desires. You didn't know any better then, but now you must be holy in everything you do, just as God who chose you is holy. Look, plain language, if you're being influenced by people who are leading you away from a more godly life, change your friends and your habits. Be determined to be an influence for godliness instead. It'll make all the difference. It'll change your home, your family, your friends, our nation. It's important. If we'll do that, I assure you there's more reasons for hope than despair. We'll be back with your emails in just a moment. Thank you for taking the time to send us your emails. Your thoughts and opinions, they're important to us. Ron from Boonville, Mississippi. As I watched your interview of Commander Kirk Lippold, I was taken back to October 1962 and the Cuban Missile Crisis. I was assigned to an Atlas nuclear missile combat crew west of Omaha, Nebraska. So the threat of Iran's becoming a nuclear power is even more ominous than when the USSR had missiles aimed at us. I fear that Iran is not so reasonable. Unlike the USSR, they are driven by irrational religious zeal in opposition to both Judaism and Christianity. Well, Ron, first of all, thank you for your service. And I think I agree with you. Iran is a very dangerous voice in our world today. They openly call Israel the little Satan and the U.S. the great Satan. And they've told us repeatedly when they have nuclear capabilities, they intend to use them to destroy us. We should pay attention. Sandy in cold, snowy, windy Oakland, Maryland. I'm glad I'm in the South. She said, thank you for a wonderful program. You touched my heart with many of your remedies for our life right now. I missed the 60s when I grew up. We children were taught right from wrong, and there was always respect. Not so much nowadays. Keep up the good work. Well, Sandy, I have some fond memories of my own, but I think the best days are still ahead. And then Perry from Florida. I really enjoy your new TV program. I especially appreciate the programs featuring Dr. Alveda King and Yael Eckstein. Your positive approach to the events unfolding all around us is truly inspiring. God is indeed moving in the earth. We need to focus on and participate in what God is doing rather than dwelling on the negative. Thank you for the encouragement you bring. Well, thank you, Perry. We can all add to that momentum. Rather than just complain and find the weaknesses and the problems in our world, let's decide to use our voices for good. Build a good news list. Share the things on your list with the people around you. We can make a difference in our world. Thank you for watching our program and telling your friends about it. If you missed the program live, you can go to our YouTube channel and see it. It's posted every evening. If you'll subscribe to the channel, it'll help us and it'll remind you every time there's a new program. Well, make sure you send your emails to comments@alanjacksonnow.com. From all of us here in Nashville, thank you for joining us tonight and have a wonderful evening.